What if I told you that likability isn't about being the smartest, the funniest, or the most interesting person in the room? Instead, it's about being someone others feel comfortable with, trust, and want to engage with. In today's world, social connections are everything, whether in your personal life, career, or even casual interactions. So, how can you become someone people naturally gravitate toward? That's exactly what we'll explore today. Have you ever met someone and felt instantly drawn to them? Or perhaps the opposite, someone who left you feeling indifferent, maybe even uneasy? The truth is, likability is not an accident. It's a science. Patrick King, a social interaction specialist, has cracked the code on what makes people genuinely likable, and today, we'll dive deep into his insights. Forget manipulation or being someone you're not. This is about authenticity, relatability, and simple techniques that help people connect with you effortlessly. Focus points. Do you remember? Our happiest memories are deeply tied to sensory details. What happened, where we were, and who we were with. These layers of experience create an emotional imprint that lingers. Interestingly, people tend to feel more comfortable and open with those who help them relive these treasured moments. You don't need to have been part of their past to create a meaningful connection. Simply prompting someone to share their fondest memories can trigger joy, warmth, and trust. A great way to build instant rapport is by asking open-ended questions about experiences that matter to others. What was their favorite childhood game? What's the best trip they've ever taken? By inviting people to reflect on these moments, you create an emotional bridge, one that makes interactions more engaging and personal. When people associate you with the positive feelings their memories bring, they naturally enjoy being around you. This simple yet powerful technique is one of the easiest ways to boost your likability and create lasting impressions. Don't be afraid to be basic. The power of simplicity and why being relatable is more impactful than being impressive. Give and take. The hidden psychology of reciprocity and how it strengthens relationships. Be recognizable. The importance of consistency in how you present yourself. Imperfection is the new black. How vulnerability and authenticity make you more likable. Just try to stop you. The key to effortless charisma and how to build unstoppable social momentum. Learning outcomes. Understand how to make a lasting impression on people. Learn why embracing simplicity makes you more approachable. Discover how reciprocity and consistency enhance relationships. Recognize the power of authenticity and vulnerability. Gain confidence in leading conversations and interactions naturally. By the end of this audiobook, you'll have practical, actionable strategies to enhance your likability in any situation. Whether you want to build deeper relationships, expand your social circle, or simply make everyday interactions smoother, these insights will help you connect with people in ways you never thought possible. So, let's begin. Focus point 1. The power of memory in likability. Think back to one of your happiest memories. Maybe it was a childhood moment, a vacation, or even a simple conversation with someone who made you feel truly heard. What makes that memory so special? Chances are, it's the details, the people involved, the setting, the emotions, and even the scents in the air. These small vivid elements bring your past to life and reconnect you with the feelings you experienced at that time. Now, imagine, if someone asked you about that memory, just the act of recalling it would likely bring a smile to your face. That's the science of likability at work. When you encourage others to share their meaningful experiences, you tap into something deeply personal and positive. You don't have to be part of their happiest moments. You just have to show genuine interest in them. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel seen, valued, and understood. By asking the right questions and listening with curiosity, you create an instant bond. This simple approach can turn casual acquaintances into close connections, and it's one of the easiest ways to make yourself more likable in any social setting. So, if you want to build stronger relationships and be remembered fondly by others, start by giving them the space to revisit their best moments. Ask about their favorite childhood memory, a time they felt truly accomplished, or even a funny story from their past. You'll be surprised at how quickly the walls come down and how effortlessly conversations flow. So, are you ready to unlock the secret to being more likable? Let's dive deeper and uncover more ways to create meaningful connections. Focus point 2. The beauty of being. Basic many. People believe they need jaw-dropping stories to be interesting. Maybe they think they should have traveled to exotic places, lived through dramatic experiences, or done something outrageously unique to capture attention. But here's the truth. Likability isn't about impressing people. It's about being real. You don't need to have surfed the biggest waves in Australia or have an unbelievable life story to be liked. In fact, trying too hard to seem extraordinary can sometimes have the opposite effect, making you seem distant or even unrelatable. What truly makes you likable is your ability to connect with others on a human level, and that starts with something incredibly simple: genuine curiosity about them. Instead of worrying about how interesting you appear, focus on learning about the people around you. If you want to build better relationships with coworkers, understand your teenage child's world a little better, or go beyond surface-level small talk on a date, start with these 3 simple questions. How was your day? What made you happy or sad today? Is there anything you would like to change about your day and why? It sounds basic, but that's the point. These questions don't require grand stories or deep intellectual debates. They just create space for real conversations. Ones where people feel seen and heard. And when someone feels understood, they naturally feel closer to you. But what about those people who just don't seem to like you? Maybe a difficult coworker, a cold acquaintance, or even a frenemy who always seems to challenge you? Should you try to win them over with charm? Not necessarily. Instead, try something unexpected. Ask them for a small favor. It might sound counterintuitive, but when you ask someone for help, even something as simple as holding a door for you or giving a recommendation for a gift, it subtly shifts the way they see you. Suddenly, they aren't looking at you as an adversary, but as someone human, someone who needs assistance, just like they do sometimes. This simple act can soften their stance, open a line of communication, and even lay the foundation for a better relationship. Being likable doesn't require grand gestures. It's about making small, intentional choices, asking the right questions, showing genuine interest, and sometimes allowing yourself to be a little vulnerable. So, the next time you're in a conversation, forget about trying to be impressive. Instead, just focus on being present, curious, and open. That's all it really takes. Focus point 3. The balance of give and take. Have you ever noticed how relationships, whether friendships, romantic partnerships, or even professional connections, often thrive when there's a natural balance? We feel closest to people when there's an unspoken understanding that both sides contribute in some way. It's not about keeping score, but about a sense of fairness that keeps things flowing. Some people might find this idea uncomfortable. Shouldn't relationships be about genuine care rather than mutual benefit? In an ideal world, maybe, but in reality, we form relationships because they meet emotional, social, or even practical needs. And that's not a bad thing. You might have friends who make you feel safe and supported, while you, in turn, provide them with laughter, companionship, or guidance. This isn't transactional. It's human nature. Social psychologists Ellen Burscheid and Elaine Walster explored this idea in the 1970s when they developed the equity theory of relationships. Their research revealed something simple but powerful. People naturally seek balance. When someone does something kind for you, whether it's driving you home, bringing you coffee, or listening patiently to your problems, you probably feel a desire to return the favor. Not out of obligation, but because fairness is built into the way we relate to one another. But here's where it gets tricky. Not everyone plays by these same rules. Some people take without giving. Others give endlessly without expecting anything in return, sometimes to their own detriment. The key to being likable without being taken advantage of is knowing where to direct your kindness. The best relationships, whether friendships, partnerships, or even casual acquaintances, have an organic rhythm of give and take. It's not about expecting favors or repaying every kindness immediately. It's about creating an environment where generosity flows naturally in both directions. So, as you navigate your connections, remember, don't keep score, but do pay attention. Are your relationships balanced? Do you give freely, but also allow yourself to receive? Find that sweet spot, and you'll build deeper, stronger connections with the people in your life. Focus point 4. The power of being recognizable. Think about those online ads that seem to follow you everywhere. You ignore them, maybe even feel annoyed by them. But later, when a friend asks for a recommendation in that category, you suddenly remember the brand. Strange, right? Even when we resist something, repeated exposure makes it familiar, and familiarity builds recognition and trust. The same principle applies to human relationships. The more we see, hear, and interact with someone, the more comfortable we feel around them. It's why you're more likely to become friends with coworkers you see every day or neighbors you pass regularly. This isn't just anecdotal. Research backs it up. A 1950 Cambridge study found that neighbors living on the same floor were far more likely to form friendships than those living on different floors. But interestingly, people near stairwells often connected across floors, proving that even casual, repeated interactions create a sense of trust. So, how do you apply this to being more likable? It's not about forcing yourself into every conversation or trying too hard to be noticed. Instead, focus on 3 key things. Be someone worth recommending. Develop skills that make you valuable in your circles. Maybe you give great advice, are a problem solver, or simply make people laugh. When others see you as someone worth knowing, they naturally introduce you to more people. Match the communication style of those around you. We trust people who make us feel understood. If someone is expressive, match their energy. If they're more reserved, meet them at their level. It's not about being fake, it's about making connections easier. Don't try to please everyone. People respect those who have their own opinions and boundaries. If you constantly agree with everyone or seem desperate for approval, you become forgettable. But when you stay true to yourself while being open to discussion, you become someone people remember. Being recognizable doesn't mean being loud or forcing connections. It's about showing up, engaging authentically, and creating familiarity in a way that builds trust. The more people see you as a consistent, valuable presence, the more naturally your likability will grow. Focus point 5. Imperfection. Is the new black? Have you ever noticed how exhausting it can be to be around someone who seems too perfect? They have the ideal job, the flawless relationship, and a life that looks like it belongs on a highlight reel. Instead of inspiring connection, this level of perfection often makes others feel self-conscious or distant. That's because perfection isn't relatable. Imperfection is. People don't bond over flawless success, they bond over shared struggles, awkward moments, and the little mishaps that make life unpredictable. It's why polished TED Talks about achievement don't always resonate as deeply as fake cup nights. Events where people openly share their biggest failures. We find comfort in knowing that even the most accomplished people have messed up along the way. Think about it. You've probably had days where nothing goes right. Your coffee spills, your shirt has a mysterious stain, and you realize after an important meeting that there was something stuck in your teeth the whole time. What's the point in pretending life is perfect when everyone knows it's not? Embracing imperfection doesn't mean glorifying failure. It means acknowledging that setbacks and struggles are part of being human. And when you're willing to show your flaws, you give others permission to do the same. You create an environment where people feel safe to let their guard down, be themselves, and actually enjoy the interaction instead of trying to impress. So instead of trying to present an image of perfection, try this. Laugh at your mistakes. Not everything needs to be taken seriously. A little self-deprecating humor makes you more relatable. Be honest about your struggles. You don't need to overshare, but admitting you don't have all the answers can actually make people trust you more. Encourage others to do the same. When you show vulnerability, others feel comfortable doing the same, leading to deeper, more meaningful connections. At the end of the day, perfection creates pressure. Imperfection creates connection. So instead of trying to be the person who has it all together, be the person who makes others feel like they don't have to. That's what makes you truly likable. Focus. Point 6. Just try to stop you. The psychology of motivation. Why do people always seem to want what they can't have? Think of Eve and the forbidden fruit. Out of all the trees in the garden, why was she drawn to that one? The answer lies in human psychology. In the 1960s, psychologist Jack Brame introduced reactance theory, which explains that when our freedom is restricted, we instinctively push back. The moment we're told not to do something, our desire to do it increases. This isn't just a rebellious streak in children. It's a fundamental trait in people of all ages. We want to prove that we are in control of our own choices. So, if you want to lead, influence, or motivate people in a way that makes them like you, don't issue demands. Instead, invite them to take action in a way that aligns with their own sense of control and personal goals. The key is to present challenges in a way that makes others want to rise to them. Here are 6 powerful ways to lead without force or manipulation. Share a vision. People follow leaders who inspire them. Talk about a shared goal and how working together can make it a reality. Be a mentor. People respect those who help them grow. Share your knowledge, guide others, and offer insights that make them better. Build a network. True leadership isn't about controlling others, it's about empowering them. Teach people how to succeed on their own. Ask questions. Instead of telling people what to do, involve them in decision-making. Ask for their opinions, and they'll feel valued and engaged. Encourage growth. If you see potential in someone, challenge them to push their boundaries, but do it with support and encouragement. Create an action plan. When people trust you completely, they'll look to you for direction. Give them clear steps toward achieving a shared goal. Leadership isn't about commanding. It's about inspiring. When you understand that people don't like being forced into decisions, you can guide them in ways that make them feel in control. Combine your needs with what matters to others, and you'll not only get results, you'll also earn respect, admiration, and lasting influence. Conclusion. At its core, likability isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about building genuine connections, embracing who you are, and understanding what makes people feel valued. Throughout this audiobook, we explored key principles that can help you become more approachable, respected, and admired in any social setting. Key takeaways. Memory and connection. People trust and like those who help them recall meaningful moments. Ask about their favorite memories to create an instant bond. The power of simplicity. You don't need extravagant stories to be interesting. Just be curious about others and ask meaningful questions. The give and take principle. Strong relationships are built on balance. Give freely, but also allow yourself to receive. Being recognizable. People trust those they see and interact with regularly. Show up, engage, and let others get to know the real you. The strength of imperfection. Perfection is intimidating, but flaws make you relatable. Embrace mistakes and create space for others to do the same. Leading without forcing. People resist being told what to do. Instead, inspire them with vision, encouragement, and involvement. Practical steps to apply these.
Lessons. Change a negative relationship. Think of someone who dislikes you or is indifferent toward you.
Try asking them for a small favor and see how it shifts the dynamic. Host a failure night. Invite friends over, share your biggest mistakes, laugh about them, and reflect on what they taught you. Build new connections. Reach out to a neighbor you don't know well. A simple conversation could be the start of a great friendship. Final thoughts. People are naturally drawn to those who help them feel heard, understood, and valued. Whether you're looking to improve friendships, strengthen professional relationships, or just be more likable in everyday life, these principles can guide you toward deeper, more meaningful connections. Thank you for listening and spending your time with this audiobook. Your commitment to self-improvement is truly inspiring. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share so others can benefit too. And remember, language learning is just like building relationships. The more you listen, the better you speak. Keep engaging, keep improving, and we'll see you in the next audiobook.